I think I said this. I said this throughout last week. Say, if things go how they look like they are going to go, these things are going to happen, and that's exactly what we've seen in any games in the course of of course, Enzo Maresca and Chelsea have lost by 3-1 against Brighton and Hove Albion, a game that they were winning. But see, football is not just about 45 minutes. A 90 minutes thing, you know. And what happens in the 90 minutes, that's how you do the analysis on. Enzo Maresca lost to Fabian Hazeler in 3 times out of 4. After such a Fabian Hazeler 4 goes to 2. Fabian Hazeler won 3 times after that. And see, a lot of questions are being asked about Enzo Maresca and the tactics and how he goes into games. But there are details, right? And we'll talk about that. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Someone subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notification. In the notification, turn choose all just so anytime that there is content, you are first to have it. So I say on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. It's very important. So you stick and stay with us. We have the conversation and everything is going to go on well for you. Of course, in other games, Manchester United this season echo away from home, and it was Manchester United that went straight to Brentford, the GTEC Community Stadium. After Cinema United airship Chelsea, the big question was that was Ruben Amorim able to win back-to-back games? Because I mean, watch Chelsea. Obetime winning back-to-back. Is it easy for him to win such games? Can he get that job done? And that was the first time he was going away. Mekai said the last time he reached Atico, Keith Andrews and your coach on Yadi, he can't go and play against team friend Ruben Amorim and they'll get a win. First half, Brentford were leading by 2-0 until Sir Brentford friend Benjamin Sesko share money here 2-1. Then in the second half, Brentford had to come back and then crawl back the way, try to see if they can get something out of the game. In the second half, Bruno Fernandes in a penalty, but then of course he couldn't bury it in the game, and the 2-1. Brentford for winning that game. Then right after that, it was a big one for Chelsea Football Club versus Brighton and Hove Albion. When the starting lineup came, I felt it was the right starting lineup for Enzo Maresca and any team. Now, why am I saying so? It's a starting lineup of one left-sided centre-back, Enzo Maresca, not or they Abrante friend Joao Hato Ababeshim. So the issue of 2 right-footed centre-backs are able Obibo left-hand side any uncomfortable position in terms of build-up, especially knowing that Brighton for number pressing. It was a very good one. So okay, Chelsea will go and switch it. Play Abrante Yefero Joao Hato, who is a natural left footer, and then play Abrante friend Trevor Chalobah as the partner in centre-back. Then what then happened was what we expected. Your predictors are starting lineup no insure. Reece James on the right, Marco Correa on the left, in Fiifi-Manfred. Obviously, there was a brand friend Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, and like I said, André Santos has been playing very well. And in a set like this, you need André Santos to be in the middle of the park to play a compact midfield 3. A midfield 3, a bit more very combative, a bit more winning duels, a bit more physical, a bit more turning over possession. That's exactly what Enzo Maresca needed. Our Parker and Fiifi. And I think that he got it. In fact, especially in the first half, I think André Santos made the work of Abrante Yefero, Moises Caicedo a little bit easier, because André Santos was covering more ground. He was winning a lot of duels, was being more physical, and he was making it difficult for Brighton for them to play their football. And then up top, he went in with Abrante friend Estevao Willian, had Joao Pedro, and Abrante friend Pedro Neto as part of the top 3 in that team. So it was a flat, typical 4-3-3. I think that there are 4 main reasons in here Chelsea lose so much against Brentford. I mean, I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, this is on Enzo Maresca being after having a red card. I don't see where Enzo Maresca was wrong in this game. I don't see where people are faulting Enzo Maresca, how things have gone on. First half performance, I mean, was solid. Total control from Chelsea. There was nothing wrong with them. Brighton did not have a sniff of goal in the first half. See, he said, oh yeah, scoreline analysis. This analysis that I'm doing is not for you. If you want to just do scoreline analysis, oh, Chelsea should say, you say, yeah, then analysis is not for you. You better not waste your time to listen. But for me, the first half was a total control from Enzo Maresca and man, to have Esteval Willian on the right to come inside, have regime, sometimes keep the width, sometimes go a little bit narrow and try to overload Brighton for no Fiifi-Manfred, keep the width on the left hand side with our brand here, friend Joao Pedro, and then Marco Correa doing a lot of underlaps, overlaps. No, was a very important one. In fact, social Chelsea goal now, it was some Reece James going up and down the touchline. Moses Caicedo, a play ball through the full back, which is Kadiogo, and the outside centre back Van Heckel, and of course, our brand here, your friend Reece James, a ball across, took a deflection, then Enzo Fernandez scored a goal. And I like Enzo Fernandez celebration now. Of course, all the fans are say people should just keep quiet because he has come under a lot of pressure. And this is a player who plays, works hard, wins duels, and he's signing money for the team. And it didn't go all. And now people are saying it's not doing enough. Once Enzo Fernandez put Chelsea up to make it 1-0, for me, in my opinion, the game was in a good place from start time to the second half. But this is it. Chelsea had a chance to kill the game, right? And one of them felt Esteval Willian. I remember in the first half, there was a ball that went up to the byline. Esteval Willian saw that Abrante friend Joao Pedro was in there running towards goal. Pedro Neto was behind. Enzo Fernandez was behind. It was simple. I think that was a ball where they could have squared it back to Abrante friend Enzo Fernandez and asked Abrante your friend Joao Pedro, who were in the edge of the 18-yard box. But Esteval Willian did not do that. Again, once he did not do that ball, he did not square that ball to him. I was very, very happy passing Abrante your friend Pedro Neto went to him and catching him and said, in balls like this, you square it back to us. And so square man, instead of going for goal or going to find Joao Pedro are taking the attention, you square it back. And for me, that is the huge part of the game. Huge part in the sense that the game essentially got to the point where Chelsea failed to kill it off. It's as simple as that. In the first half, Chelsea should have killed the game off. And that is exactly how the game should be able to go into. So we have a chance that in the Premier League, momentum outside, you have to convert it. It's as simple, like convert the momentum into goals. When you have the momentum on your side in the Premier League, kill off games. And that's something that Chelsea struggled to do. That is exactly what Chelsea have put themselves in a tight corner. And once you call half time, Chelsea will up by 0. Chelsea came out first. And I felt like fine. About first, Chelsea have warmed themselves in. Just one build-up. Abrante friend Andre Santos dropped because Mekase, and a lot of Chelsea fans have said they should play Andre Santos. Enzo Maresca and Andre Santos because Andre Santos is good. They should have faith in him. And I have also jumped on it last week, said Maresca. But Andre Santos, because boy in the ball on him, why would you bring the boy from Strasbourg? Maresca says fine. He plays Andre Santos. Puts him in the middle of the park to play part of the game. Andre, second half, building up ball FHA. The ball goes onto the feet of Andre Santos. There is pressure on him. Goes to Gomez, who is the player of Brighton and Hove Albion. Then Trevor Chalobah has nothing to do than say, try bring it down the opponent. Once he did that, went into a tackle, VAR for an extended period of time. I think once there was contact in that area, I think once the player got the first touch and then was leading into goal, it was always going to be a chance for Abantia, your friend, Trevor Chalobah to get a red card. And for me, it was a clear-cut red card. I mean, you cannot even debate it. It was a clear red card in that instance for Abantia, your friend, Trevor Chalobah. And now Chelsea had to come in and then come and turn things around, come and get goals for them. It was very difficult, very, very difficult for Tima, your friend Chelsea Football Club, in terms of how they were going to turn things around, how they were going to play that game. A red card from there. Now, this is different from what happened against Manchester United. Against Manchester United, Chelsea had a red card in the 5th minute of the game. So Enzo Maresca made some hasty changes. This time, what he did was that the very first change was to take off Abrante, your friend Andre Santos, because he felt like Andre Santos has been rattled into only Andre Santos in film. Not for Abrante, your friend Joshua Champon, because he needed a centre back in the team. So I don't know where people are complaining about Enzo Maresca's substitutions. But again, how are you going to manage this? What he did was that take off Andre Santos, bring in a centre back, what you say in Abrante, your friend Joshua Champon. So by the time Chelsea started first half, it's one set of centre back, one set of defensive centre backs. By the time I gave me ND, then he had completely changed. There were a different set of centre backs. So you could tell that It was a game that the game state changed a lot. The context of the game changed a lot. At the time Chelsea were won a red card, no, when Brighton was still 1-0. I felt like they were managing the game quite fine. But again, the threat was always from the wide area from a bench here, your friend Fiifi-Manfred, constantly. And when coach your friend Fabian Hezler showed in a bench here, your friend Danny Welbeck, you knew that it was always going to be difficult. It was going to be difficult. It was going to be tough. Now, my problem is that when Enzo Maresca made the substitutions, no, it looked as if he pushed a bench here, your friend Reece James into the middle of the park to play as central midfield. That is what the tactics look like. Now, in that substitution, that is where I have a problem. I think that Reece James should have still stayed on Abrante defending Fiifi-Manfred. He still should have defended Fiifi-Manfred because that 1v1 of Fiifi-Manfred versus Abrante defending Malo Gusto was not good enough. It was not good enough. And this is the second time. So, in the game against Brighton and Hove Albion, the game against Bayern Munich, it was a similar pass to Malo Gusto and Hurricane Jikokoshe. This time, it's a similar pass to Abrante friend Andres Santos that turned the ball over and led to the red card of Abrante your friend Trevor Chalobah. And it's the same last season, almost but the same pass in the channel to Abrante friend Reece James, and then again led to the team, Fulham going to score. Of course, later in that game, Chelsea turned it around and won it by 2-1. But again, the problem is in this area, is in that zone of the pitch where again the ball lost on Abrante friend Andres Santos. I mean, as a young boy from Brazil, that is really going to put him in a hard place. It will put him in such a hard place where one Shiniana Andres Santos will begin to question, his ability and all of those things. But this is how the Premier League is. Premier League, unforgiven. Say, Premier League, say, 1 year near perfect. In fact, in the first half, I like certain things. What Caicedo, Kukurea, and Joao Pedro Mo do not somebody who extra Brighton for him, letting them know that they want to win this game this time. But then in the second half, there are problems. Chelsea don't manage the game well. Red card to Andres Santos. How to turn it around, a big problem. Then, of course, as the game wears on, Brighton make changes. Like I said, my problem was that why did Enzo Maresca remove Reece James from that side in defending Kero Mitoma to take him central? I think that in a game like this, you still, because that's what the threat was. Brighton did not have threats in the middle of the park. Especially when you had Enzo Caicedo not pushing forward. It was important that Enzo Fernandez kept with the issue of Reece James on Kiromito, on Fiifi-Manfred, and it still kept that midfield intact. Even though Chelsea had issues to defend. Because if it was Reece James, the owner man, anytime that Reece is defending, you realize that Malo Gusto will drop to come and help him in defending. But in this game, that was not the case. Anytime that Reece was defending, and it has compounded all of Chelsea's issues. Chelsea will beat Benfica next week or Champions League game. It's a game where Trevor Chalobah can play and will play. But again, inside game, you are going to deal with psychological residue of what has happened in this recent game. Then you go in and look at the game that next week and Chelsea will at Stamford Bridge. Liverpool versus Chelsea. Big game at Stamford Bridge. Last season, Chelsea beat them there. They lost away at Anfield. Romeo Lavia is back. Benoit Bellachile is back. I don't know if Tosin Abrante friend, what's his name? Wesley Fofana can be fit enough to come and play inside game, or he'll not be able to play. But what it means that even in a Champions League against Benfica, Wesley Fofana cannot play. We are expecting to still have Trevor Chalobah and Joao Hato in that game against Benfica. Yes, it's Benfica. Yes, it's Jose Mourinho. But then again, games na ever thick and fast for Chelsea, can lead to a whole lot of issues. One shiny the first Chelsea being 3 defeats our English Premier League game by the time next week ends because Liverpool is coming. And it's a tough game that Chelsea are going to play against him, your friend Liverpool Football Club, in a very difficult game that they have to go in there and go and manage. And the quality of centre-backs still a problem. I mean, look at the third goal that Chelsea conceded. Even look at the second goal. First goal was because Joao Hato doesn't defend and follow his marker well. I mean, Abrante friend Danny Welbeck was free. Joao Hato was nowhere to be found. I mean, no man's land. And of course, Danny Welbeck a head ball on the share. Then of course in the next game, they roll the ball around, take it off, go to the far post, flick it again, and then they overload the near post. Chelsea are in trouble. In the third goal, it was Abrante friend Joshua Kofi, a champion, somebody that again, all of us have said that Maresca saw boy no I saw my boy any Bobby consistent I saw my boy no boy games or no as he goes in there decides to give Joshua Kofi a chance pass them Boakam. So it was absolute total capitulation for Chelsea Football Club in the games that they were playing. Everything looked like it was going down the drain for Chelsea for the game in itself, injuries, how they want to play their match, everything being difficult for Chelsea for see, it's going to be difficult as it stands now. The season is going to be very, very difficult, and it will take a lot of reviving to get Abantia Efreno, Enzo Maresca team back on track for them to be winning games, for them to be playing well, for them to be getting results. It will take a lot for them to get back. But of course, Abantia Efreno and Enzo Maresca have shown several times I don't think it's time to just press panic buttons yet. This is 3 losses, in a row. Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Brighton, and Hove Albion. All of them are very, very difficult games to play against. Now Chelsea are going to play against Jose Mourinho Benfica coming at home to the Stamford Bridge. It's not going to be an easy match for Enzo Maresca in the Manchester. But then also in the Madrid derby, Real Madrid echo away to go and play at the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium. Before then, Liverpool also playing against Crystal Palace. It was a game where the 2 teams that were unbeaten, our English Premier League, were playing against each other. Was team of your friend of Brighton, team of your friend of Crystal Palace, would they have been able to beat team of your friend of Liverpool now? Oliver Glasner essentially has been on a lot of fire from last season, beating Pep Guardiola in the final of the FA Cup, coming on to come and beat Liverpool in penalties. Community Shield him drawing against Chelsea in the first game of the season, getting the results away from home against Aston Villa, and then getting this one against Liverpool. I'm going to take you lead me first. Via Brantia, your friend Ismail Sarr, on a share goal in the first one, and then my team at your friend Crystal Palace. Now in the second half, Liverpool, as we know, came back and then got a job done. Crystal Palace are only unbeaten team in the English Premier League this season. A lot of respect to Abantia, your friend Oliver Glasner. Chelsea only 1 win in the last 5 matches. 3 losses and then 1 win only against Lincoln City. And a Chelsea team lost against Brighton, lost against Man United, lost against Brentford, Bayern Munich, and then also drew against Tima, your friend Brentford. Of course, inside Liverpool game, in the final goal went to Abantia, your friend Eddie Nketiah in that regard, getting the win for them. Of course, a former Arsenal player, doing a big honor to team up your friend Arsenal for them to go on and then get a job done, to be able to get a big goal Crystal Palace for its going. Arsenal definitely would need those points now from team your friend Crystal Palace. And that's exactly what they were able to do. Like I said, and then to see how English Premier League now, after Saturday games, the Manchester City were able to go away. They were able to go away from home to get a job done against team my friend Burnley. Pep Guardiola and Brighton are coming back. I remember somebody told me, one Shania this season, Man City will win the league and all of us will be surprised again because Bono are very solid and they are playing some good football. So all of us should be very careful. After spending millions of euros on signing players from Brighton, it's Brighton itself that beats Chelsea with a comeback. That's what people are saying there. Charlie, Brighton for one Abema, Chelsea, it happens like that. That is quality display. Florian Wirtz in that game against team your friend in Liverpool. Florian Wirtz for Liverpool so far this season, 8 games, 0 goals, 1 assist, bought for $155 million. Please, $155 million. And you get Florian Wirtz from team your friend buying 04 Leverkusen for him to come to team your friend in Liverpool, but still nothing at all to show for in terms of the quality of games now, and how they expected Bright, how they expected Florian Wirtz to step up into games. Madrid in a big game this season went away to the Wanda Metropolitano. Charlie, and what a game it was. What a game it was for Football Club Real Madrid out the Wanda Metropolitano. It was a huge game for team and friend Football Club Real Madrid. First off, it was a goal that came from Abantia Efreno. Antoine Griezmann, and then of course Simeone Inzaghi, Bano Kokoshego, Mbappe Mane 1-1, then Arda Güler made it 2-1, Solo Mane 2-2, Julian Alvarez and Antoine Griezmann won the game for Tima. Your friend Atletico de Madrid. They have proven, said they are very quality side. They have the quality, and the Madrid derby is there. And it's difficult for you to go into it and then try to see if you can get a win from there. On the side of Tima, your friend, Football Club Real Madrid, it was difficult for them. They were not able to get the win, and Team your friend Atletico de Madrid have won. What it means is that it is advantage. Team and your friend of Barcelona going into the next couple of games now, and there have been some good games. Simeone Inzaghi was full of emotions as Atletico beat Madrid 5-2. Gusto for Savals, the good stuff. Gusto has legs and to help both in both faces. Sometimes I think of the Chelsea project could just allow for a striker like Danny Welbeck, experience with the ability to come in and win you games when needed and happy not to always play. Welbeck has been very good since he came in. That is what Rahman Osman is talking about. I mean, what probably went on against Chelsea. He's just gone and scored again over there for Danny Welbeck. Of course, the Chelsea game, not good one, too long, and the goal has come. Malavia obviously was coming on to come and control the game for Chelsea, because that's exactly what Enzo Maresca could have done. That's exactly what I was saying. When Chelsea were playing in Sao match, what they needed to do was to bring in a bench friend Romeo Lavia to come and manage and get things done. But then again, it didn't happen. We'll see how things are going to go on. Of course, Madrid Barcelona them. They have an advantage because Madrid have lost to Team my friend Football Club Real Madrid, and that's put them under loads of pressure. Of course, we're expecting Barca for China against Real Sociedad, they'll get a job done. Eder Militao is hurt. He was seen limping back to the locker room. This week against Team my friend Kiryat Almaty, Madrid will take a 12-hour flight to travel 64,000 kilometers to Kazakhstan for the first time in history. Our team, your friend Kirani Ayat, on the season has only just begun. That is Xabi Alonso. So we mustn't forget the good road we have been on. Of course, we are when a defeat, when bad happens, it hurts, and we must get back to where we are good at and see how things are going to go on from there. That's what Xabi Alonso is saying after that game, no more boy against Tima, your friend Atletico de Madrid. Of course, Chelsea also didn't manage to get the win. For Barca side here, definitely they are going to be very excited. They are going to be very, very excited. But with respect to games now, and how things are going on from there. If you look at the kind of games that Chelsea have ball and how Chelsea equates games, and next game is going to be against Jose Mourinho Benfica, and then the subsequent game is going to be in the English Premier League where Chelsea. Obi said, I can't believe what I've just witnessed from Gusto. Just broke up attacks, left Brighton's left side as much freedom as they went, got turned inside out, and was lucky not to give away a penalty. We survived the red card storm before he came on. If he doesn't trust the bench, he should resign. But we know he won't do that, of course. Doesn't trust the first half, the half bench. What can we do? Of course, at halftime, I think that people were asking about what Enzo Maresca. Let's not get started on some more world-class in-game management from the guy on the touchline. Charlie, sometimes losses come. This is exactly how it feels like. Enzo Maresca has lost it. We'll see how things are going to go on. Chelsea, co-control owner of Baghdad, Ekbali, and sporting directors Paul Winstanley and Joe Schultz, Sam Giola, all marched straight into the dressing room area at Stamford Bridge after Chelsea defeat to Brighton. Brighton players are still on the pitch celebrating. We'll draw the curtain here. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.